Is this the last time we will see Chris Jericho in a WWE game? Maybe, just maybe. And the reason why I say that is because yesterday Chris Jericho signed with AEW, All Elite Wrestling. Now if you don't know what AEW is, where have you been? It's the biggest buzz in wrestling for quite some time, but it's a wrestling company, a new wrestling company, being driven forward by Cody Rhodes and the Young Bucks. And yesterday, when they were announcing talent which they had acquired, they announced they had acquired Chris Jericho, the GOAT. So the GOAT signed his contract with AEW yesterday, along with Neville aka Puck, and it's expected Kenny Omega will join them too. But what does this all mean for WWE? Should they be worried? Is there going to be a resurgence of the Monday Night Wars? Well, I didn't quite realise the financial backing that AEW was being given until I looked up their billionaire owner, Fulham Football Club's owner, Shahid Khan, who recently tried to buy Wembley off the FA. Shahid Khan also owns the NFL's Jacksonville Jaguars, which was the venue yesterday for AEW's presser. So this billionaire owner has a ton of cash to splash, and it appears he's made a splash in the wrestling industry. Now AEW is not going to be immediate competition to WWE, but it does raise questions around the feelings of WWE towards AEW as an entity and the talent which signs for it, most notably Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho and Vince McMahon have had a relatively good relationship, even though Chris Jericho has become a bit of a maverick over the years. Vince has seen him go where he wants, when he wants, but he's always allowed him to come back. But maybe not this time, with Jericho now going to a US-based organisation. So does this mean Chris Jericho won't feature in 2K20? And does this spark the end of Chris Jericho in WWE Games? In my opinion, it is. Now I don't know the contract negotiation between Chris Jericho and AEW and whether or not it's a short-term or a long-term deal, but I believe Chris Jericho is in this for the long haul because he seems invested in this project with Cody Rhodes and the Young Bucks, because he said, "I'm not here for the money, I've already got the money. I think we just took things to a different level, didn't we?" Now that sounds like a man who's enjoyed himself moving around here, there and everywhere, going to New Japan, going back to WWE, but now he wants to do something that's going to change the game, and he must see this as a long-term goal. And I believe that because of that, it's going to make things incredibly difficult to negotiate a deal with WWE. Not just because it would blur the lines with Chris Jericho being in a WWE game and then appearing for All Elite Wrestling, but also because WWE might not want to negotiate. They might feel that Jericho has done them dirty. Has he? I don't think so. I think this opportunity is too good for Chris Jericho to turn down. This isn't about financial gain like Jericho said. This is about legacy. And what better way for Chris Jericho to cement his legacy than by going with AEW and elevating a brand new wrestling company? If he went back to WWE at this stage, what would really come of it? Being on the mid card? If he looks at the current WWE product, would that really suit the Chris Jericho we have at the moment? I don't think so. I think the Maverick is much more well suited to AEW and this project he can really sink his teeth into. So I don't think it's about doing WWE dirty by any means, but I do think it will damage the relationship between the two, and that unfortunately will affect a WWE game appearance in the future. The only time I see Jericho making a return to the franchise would be when his AEW contract expires. So in my opinion, a 2K20 appearance seems highly unlikely, but what do you think? Let me know in the comments section below. Do you think Chris Jericho will appear in WWE 2K20? I'd also take note of the difficulty of signing up current WWE talent, for example Tommaso Ciampa, this year. So if they had difficulty doing that, negotiating with their current superstars a deal to appear in a WWE game, how much more difficulty is it going to be with a relationship which could be damaged with Chris Jericho to bring him back to the franchise whilst he's wrestling with AEW? Seems a bit too difficult for me. So I want to get your views and opinions on this matter in the comments section below. And the reason why I made this match of Chris Jericho versus Vince McMahon is because I would love to have seen Vince McMahon's reaction to Chris Jericho signing with AEW. If he didn't know, it would have been YouTube gold. Can you imagine that reaction video on WWE's YouTube channel? Make it happen. Someone must have filmed it. So all that's left to be said, is this the last time we've seen Chris Jericho in a WWE game? Get involved and please rate, comment and subscribe. This is Delzinski signing out.